Okay, 1,000 bottles of lube. I feel like we deserve to at least be a little bit honest about this. Diddy getting arrested is a fucking gigantic deal.
Yeah,
it's a huge deal.
It's arguably the greatest fall from grace in the history of hip hop.
For sure.
A lot of people die. A lot of people fall off. But as far as somebody who's like not at the height of his career, but like somebody who's universally respected, rich as fuck, so like nobody was really like dissing him publicly or anything like that, and now we're at the stage where he's basically on par with R. Kelly, except for the fact that we don't really know the full true depths of what he might have been doing.
He's way bigger than R. Kelly.
No, but I mean in terms of his offenses.
But to be fair, the depths of depravity that R. Kelly went to are way crazier than anything that Diddy's being.
But all I'm saying is that by the end of this, we might have found out about enough stuff that we'd be willing to put him in league with R. Kelly's. I don't know.
And Kelly,
the kidnapping is something that I wonder if all of that falls up under Cassie.
I think they have a shitload of different people that are alleging different acts, including, isn't like Kid Cudi going to be part of this, where him getting his car blown up? Like there's so many things that just take place, and then once the feds get involved and start to really wrap this thing up, you're like, oh yeah, that is a crime.
What about
that's a good one.
Alleged?
Oh yeah, that is a crime. Hell yeah.
Not that this is like one of the more salacious ones, but it is hilarious. What about the alleged verbal abuse of J. Cole 13 years ago?
Right. What did he say to him though?
It was something to do with the Kendrick's Control verse.
Right.
That really had.
But I thought he beat his ass or something.
That's the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
As part of the
Diddy allegedly threatened to cut J. Cole's throat years ago over Kendrick Lamar. Let's just get the actual quote.
This is great.
Oh, and this is a quote coming from Punch of TDE, which is, you would not really expect him to be lying about this. So it doesn't seem like he would really have a reason to lie about it. The homies just did this song, right? Pissed a gang of people off. He's talking about Kendrick and Big Sean. Everybody was mad at it. When the song came out, he was overseas. Then he came back to the States. First place we stopped in was New York City. And the first thing we do is say, let's go to the club because we want to check the temperature, see what everybody was on. This is what I need to do. I need to go check the temperature. LA stuff. We get to the club. One of the homies approached us and was talking about this particular record. So we're going back and forth. Oh, it's not personal. It's just this and that. It's cool. Whatever. Another one of the homies walks up. He looks drunk and said, yeah, y'all N-words need to go back and forth and keep it on wax or whatever. So the two dudes who approached us, they got into a little heated back and forth, a little argument with each other. What we didn't know is they had gotten into an argument before we got there. Punch then explained how he and his TDE cohorts entered the club's VIP section. There, they came in contact with a slew of celebrities, referring to the amount of star power as the front row of the Grammys. He then explained how Diddy continued his vitriol, leading him to threaten to slice J. Cole's throat. The homies that got into it with the other one, he's sitting 2 steps down from me on the couch. Then he came back at him, the one who got into the altercation earlier. He was like, if you ever say what you said to me earlier, and then he grabbed the bottle from the table and said, what you gonna do? Hit me on the head with a bottle? And he said, nah, I'm gonna break it on the table and I'm gonna cut your throat. It was getting tense. So the N-word standing on the ground reached up and tried to grab dude by the neck. So the dude reached around and fired on him, and then they both fell off the table, knocking all the drinks over. It's a scuffle now, a huge scuffle.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's hilarious that it's J. Cole, though.
I mean, I feel like Puffy, honestly, is just the definition of a dude who just achieved a certain level of success young and really took every possible opportunity to be a total dickhead, piece of shit, allowed himself to indulge in every bad behavior that he could possibly imagine. And it's all because he believed that through his success that he was so special that he was basically exempt from any sort of consequences that could come from not even like the criminal elements, but just being a huge dickhead to so many people. And I feel like this is all just this big grand return to reality for him of, listen, this is what happens when you're just a total cunt to everybody that you come into contact with, which I feel like, if anything, my time in the spotlight has really taught me the opposite, where it's like everybody, like I can think of YouTubers who on my rise to wherever I'm at were fucking nobodies. And in the situations I'm thinking of, it's not like I was ever rude or mean to them or anything like that. If anything, this platform really like being accommodating towards up and coming talent, I felt like I was actually pretty cool with them. And now when I look at those people, they're so much bigger than me. And I'm like, damn, I'm thankful for every single time that I was humble and respectful towards somebody. And I really regret any time that I acted big-headed to somebody in a similar situation, because everybody that you see as they're going up to the top, you're going to see them when you're flattening out in popularity or nosediving in popularity, et cetera. You know, it's just like, I feel like I've learned the total opposite of the lesson that Puff has learned, where I think it's so important to stay humble and stay respectful to people, and I feel like Puff really kind of went with the opposite.
Well, I mean, the thing when you talk about a fall from grace in public opinion, what I see with Puff, and this is coming from someone that's a huge Bad Boy fan, like obsessed with their catalog from day one, is a dude whose entire career has been marred in controversy. From day one, people were looking bad upon him. This is a dude that was in the midst of the whole, you know, controversy that led to two of the greatest of all time passing. Five or six of his artists have passed away. That's crazy in and of itself.
That is very, very true. But at what point during that? At what point during his ex-wife? At what point during that did it seem like Puff's career was in jeopardy? To me, never. But
always.
No.
We knew this.
When?
Oh my God.
Maybe the past couple of years there's been rumors
like
about
past
it.
10?
But seriously, in the last 10 years, you feel like the conversation, because we never had that conversation on this podcast.
Never joked about them Diddy parties around you ever, like
in the last year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, you ain't
but
been.
not like too serious. Okay, we could search No Jumper. We could search Vlad. You're gonna find very few clips of people talking about Puffy as if he was some kind of sex
and
predator.
the streets that been the term for freaky ass shit. Like, ain't on that Diddy
but not
shit.
for that long.
Remember
No,
when,
I'm talking. Yes,
Yeah,
for
for a
like,
while.
like, oh, you having parties like Diddy over there? Like a motherfucker been saying that shit. Like,
let me give you a point of reference. Remember when Meek and Drake were going back and forth during the back-to-back thing, and Meek's like whole haymaker angle that he was using on Drake was, Diddy pissed on you. Like literally. Like,
No, but someone did piss on Drake, and it wasn't Diddy.
right, but the fact that that was even alluded to should show you what the climate is. You know what I mean? Like,
But I don't even think they said that. If they did, they were just confused, because it's not like
he literally
it
said,
happened with somebody else.
Yeah, but I'm going
back
that's
into
a
the
punchline, and he pissed on him. That's pretty freaky.
I'm going back into the oldest.
if that's even a frame of reference.
The oldest No Jumper clips. There's nothing. I'm searching the word Diddy. There's nothing.
That might be the No Jumper world. That's what I'm saying.
But we are desperately looking for bullshit to talk about people on a daily basis.
But it's always been a joke amongst, I guess, industry people that I guess it's like Atlanta, the streets of LA, like places where he's lived, where people just know these parties.
Fools
exist.
always knew Diddy was
That's
weird
what I'm
back
saying,
then.
but
bro.
not that weird.
Not that weird.
And it wasn't
but
a part of the public dialogue about him to the same extent. I'm gonna be
He's
real.
still not that weird.
When Joe Budden called me to his hotel room in 2018, I walk into the room. I've told this story before, but I walk into the room, and there's some reality show, talent show thing on the TV, right? And Diddy is one of the judges. And I don't watch fucking TV at all, so I have no idea. But immediately Joe says something off the cuff about, look at his ass sitting there all mollied up. and in that moment, I'm like, oh shit. Like, I took the context clues and everything. I'm like, oh fuck, Puff does Molly. He's one of them.
That's cool.
Didn't know that. Just me as a fan. At that time, I had no idea that this was the crazy sex party guy. Never mind the crazy sex trafficker guy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But we didn't know. That's what I'm saying. I still don't believe that he's a sex trafficker. I mean, a sex partier, yes.
I feel like
trafficker and all that. I just don't know what trafficking means.
Okay, but
it depends
what
on how
they
you
say,
define that.
what they say is that he not only would be like getting large number of women to come to the party, but then he would basically like intentionally get them fucking loaded off hella drugs.
Dude, they were saying that essentially the allegation, correct me if I'm wrong, was they were trying to be like, he was having Young Miami in them and like people like that, like go get bitches and bring them, and then they would.
I'm saying,
get them loaded.
You take the drugs at your own, like discretion. Like you're
Not everybody.
Nobody's like snort the line.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
No, they go and they put it in your drink, and then you just consume it.
No, they were putting shit in their drinks.
I would assume.
No, they're getting high together, man.
Okay, there's that.
What's the
But then
effect
there's
of
like,
Tootsie?
but most
What's the
girls
effect
will
of
like
Tootsie in
take
your
a
drink?
moderate amount of drugs.
Right.
It sounds like from this thing that it was like rooms full of chicks passed out. Now, granted, that might be them just hyping it up, making it sound crazy.
That
Okay.
sounds a bit salacious.
So listen, they do little amounts of drugs because they don't have the money. As soon as they go, that's like a cokehead bitch walking in and it's 2 ounces on the table. Today is the day that I OD.
And I've seen that over and over. It'll be like a girl I know, regular chick, and then she starts getting invited to clubs. She starts being in the bottle service. A couple months later, she's like in rehab, or she's like a full-blown cokehead. Because most people on their day-to-day lives are doing as much drugs as they can afford. Most people, if they all of a sudden started making an extra $10,000 a year, would probably spend it on lean and well, I'm talking about like people that we're around. But a lot of them would spend a huge percentage of it on drugs. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Way more weed, getting some good lean, more perks.
And just the partying in general, whatever comes with that.
But so then when you find yourself in an environment where you have infinite drugs available to you, what do you do?
when
You're probably going to do a lot of drugs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
And I don't blame you guys.
my whole thing is that this wasn't really a shock. I mean, like, let's go over the names: Craig Mack, Biggie Smalls, Black Rob, Shine, not getting killed, but getting, you feel me, whatever he had to go through, getting deported for his life from.
But I still feel like the argument
G-Dep.
but
What
the
does
argument
that have to do with?
Yeah, what?
Bro,
Bro,
just
like,
fucking something.
bad luck. He didn't make G-Dep go kill the guy.
Okay, so you don't think the fact that the fact that there's this aura surrounding him of dysfunction, that's how come there's more people on Bad Boy that are dead than Death Row? Think about that.
But
When
most,
Death Row is like clearly like a more
the vast majority of
perpetuating a
people
more
in the
criminal
situation
image.
you're talking about, though, it's like
No.
completely implausible that Puffy would have got them killed.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not saying Puppy got any of them killed,
But so we're indicting people for their aura now?
but the circumstances these people's lives take or took, which you could see the dysfunction stemming to, you know, that is a lot to put on him. I feel you, but at the same time, like, this isn't a guy that has like a fucking good reputation that was doing solid business.
But you know how it
Bell
is.
out
You
the deaths.
sign artists, and the ones who perform, you develop a lifelong bond with them. And the ones who fall off,
you cut ties.
bon
with-
voyage.
It's fucking business. It's not a fucking friendship. It's not your homeboy from kindergarten.
But that's the problem, though, is like, okay, you get drafted to play for the Lakers. You play for the Lakers for like 5 years. 5 years is a long time, half a decade. That's you're gonna feel like you're best friends with the coaches, the other players, the owner's gonna feel like he's got your back. They know your family. They've been around your kids. It's all that shit. Guess what? You fucking tear your Achilles tendon. You're done.
You're done.
And they're gonna get somebody else, and that's just how it goes.
True, but at the same time, like,
Hey, you can still train at our facilities.
Yeah,
right
for
but-
an hour a week.
like so Brick, let me ask you, who would you feel like are the, as far as like artists or mentors, or like the biggest people that in your career when you was first getting on and all that, like Pee-wee, Thug, people like that, like, you know what I mean? I feel like you were around some people that gave you some game and taught you about the industry and how to move and maneuver situations, as where even if you wasn't around them, you still knew a lot more than, and it's because the people
I
have more
wish I could
integrity.
say that the people that were around me were junkies and they didn't know it, and they just wanted me around for activists. And I got built all my relationships off that. Like, nobody ever took their time out to give me game about the industry, even when I asked.
Well,
Shit
you know,
was like,
But realistically, someone like Thug was figuring it out for himself. He was in,
Yeah.
He was
We
in
were
3
figuring
record
out-
deals, 4 record deals by the time you were hanging out
I'm
around
not
him.
talking about sliming them.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the older people that you would expect. They were junkies too.
I get
So it
that,
was just
but I
you
feel
know
like
what I mean?
you had like a lot better, and not just you, but your entire generation. You feel me? Of fools coming up had a lot more mentorship, and there's
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
you know what I mean. And you can see just like there's a certain level of negligence when there's labels that are exploiting artists and preying on the dreams of people to try to capitalize off of it, as opposed to the, you know, the J Princes or the, you know what I mean, the Master P's. And there's several examples of fools that actually let me help you out, show you how, give you some game. So even if we stop working with each other,
So you saying this Diddy's karma?
I'm saying, yeah, Diddy's been a dick from day one. You feel me? Like, and
He's like,
free the locks.
I'm just
Free
saying,
the
like,
locks.
okay,
Free the locks.
if you're a label, if you run a label or if you sign artists, you don't have to be a dick for it to all fall apart.
Correct.
No matter what, you could be the best fucking dude in the world. Look at, if we were to really break it down, how many artists attempted to build careers through QC? A fuckload that we have not heard of in many, many years, and it doesn't surprise any of us. And if anything, the fact that they have really like a handful of artists that have become very successful under them, it makes us all look at them like, holy shit, they know what they're doing.
Correct.
The music business is a thing where if you have like a 10% success rate and you've signed like hundreds of artists throughout your career, if you have a 10% success rate, you might be looked at as incredibly successful.
Yeah, but Adam, I'm like not. I can name the 90% of bad boy artists that didn't make it. I'm talking about the ones that actually had a modicum of success. Like I'm not talking about like the white.
No, you named
Kane.
G-Dep. I don't think
G-Dep had a fucking had a huge hit record. Special Delivery was a huge. That's what invented the Harlem Shake. Like that was.
You're right.
And G-Dep's an incredible rapper too. So I'm literally was mentioning the people that are actually.
that's
better.
what invented the Harlem Shake, or
That
that's
was
what showed the world.
That's a song that
was the
set off the
introduction.
Harlem-
Yeah, that was the introduction to the world.
I gotta be honest, I'm not sure if the Harlem Shake predated that dance or not, or that record or not, but
Yeah, it
that was
did.
for sure the Harlem Shake song,
Yeah.
100%. Not the Bauer fucking joint.
Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Then
Bauer.
That was a moment.
They had another one. What was Diddy's?
But that, yeah, no, there's a Diddy Bop. You feel me?
Nah, didn't they have a Harlem Shake song? No.
Yeah, but that was special. But the special delivery,
Special delivery,
yeah, that
for
was
sure.
it.
It was it. This one for my niggas. Your
Yeah.
special delivery. Yeah. Shit.
Ghostface Killer on the remix. Come on, bro.
Really?
Amongst like 8 other prominent New York rappers at the time.